So a little more about our herb shop. So we call this a self-help health center. It's open to the public 24/7. You can come in here anytime and it's self-service. There are bottles and labels and markers and funnels. And these are, we've looked at the Chinese herbs already, and these are single herb tinctures, all here. Primarily from our garden, or sometimes from the surrounding natural areas that were, in other words, wildcrafted. There are a few that I just want to have them here, and they can't possibly grow here, so we have to buy them. We try and get the best quality we can, you know, tropical things. But more than 95% of these are made by us from stuff that we harvested, either grew or wildcrafted. At the moment, they're $15 for a 2-ounce bottle, which is what we sell. Then some of the things we do with the Chinese herbs, we fill prescriptions, but we also make tinctures from them, but not usually in the form of single herbs, but rather in formulas. So Chinese herbs are rarely used singly. They're almost always used in formulas. And the formulas sometimes can be thousands of years old. They're classical formulas. We've got a book here. So this is the main Chinese materia medica about the herbs. I believe we talked about that previously. And there's a companion book, which is the formulas. It's arranged by the same categories, but instead of discussing individual herbs, it's discussing formulas and all the possible adjustments to the formula. So you have classic formulas, and then you have slight variations on them. And this is what practitioners do when they're going to write a formula. They start with some kind of classic formula, and then they just do some addition, some subtraction, adjust the dosages. Sometimes the classic formulas didn't even have dosages given, just a list of herbs up to the doctor to figure out the dosages. But we have a lot of books to help you. Go either way, either with the Chinese herbs, if you want to try and treat yourself with the Chinese bulk herbs, or if you want to treat yourself with individual tinctures. You can make formulas from these, so if you wanted a formula with 5 different herbs, rather than having to buy 5 different bottles, you can put all 5 herbs into one bottle. It's all the same price, $15 for 2 ounces, usually. There are a few expensive ones. And then we have descriptions of the formulas. A lot of them are longevity formulas. It's kind of a specialty here, which is to say adaptogens or tonic herb formulas. They call them longevity formulas. But there are also plenty of them that are specific things for immunity, for insomnia, for broken bones, for colds and flus, either to cure or to prevent, for, you know, any common ailment you can name. We've got probably a tincture up here. And then a number of them are also martial arts. Martial arts people use herbs big time, and they have, the different schools have their own secret formulas. They use the herbs for first aid after they beat themselves up all day. Then they spend the night erasing all the bruises and wounds and fractures so that they can beat themselves up the next day all refreshed. They're really good at it. And then there are martial arts for training formulas too, that'll actually cause you a lot of problems unless you're working out very hard all the time, circulating all this chi like crazy. So those are some of our customers. We don't sell these on the open market. They're not made according to good manufacturing practices. It's just something we do for the neighborhood and the apprentices and people that live right around here, or old friends who stop in, etc. So that's the herb shop. Formulas, single herbs. And then this is like our dispensatory, so we fill prescriptions for the Chinese herbs. This is where we do that. This is Overflow Medicinal Herb Books. So the other part of the Self-Help Health Center is that we have a very large library to work with, including a lot of professional texts that you're not going to find in your average bookstore, or for that matter in your average public library. These books are kind of hard to come by, actually. So we have the benefit of that. The This is part of the library. A lot more of it's over here. And then the other thing we do is maintain a seed library. It's part of our Botanic Garden project. So these are seeds for our vegetable garden, growing our own food, beans, roots, fruits, grains, etc. There are a couple of bins here that are seed from other places, other botanic gardens and so on that we get in. And then these are the seeds that we collect, either from our garden or from wild crafting. Includes a lot of Chinese herbs and native medicinal stuff. And so on. If I had enough electricity to have a freezer, the whole collection would be best in a freezer. But we get it dry using silica gel. So we put it into these airtight vials that are sold specifically for this sort of purpose. That seems to work all right. The cabinet kind of buffers the change. You don't want massive constant fluctuations in temperature is bad for the endurance of the seed. So that is some of what goes on in the herb shop. Welcome to stop by and visit anytime. There's a list of the seeds that we've collected this year. There's information about the tinctures.